I miss you too. Yeah, I know. I just can't talk right now. That was the moment everything inside me went quiet. I was standing in the hallway, barefoot, half awake, staring at the faint light slipping under our bedroom door, my hand still on the wall, my breath stuck somewhere between my chest and my throat. I wasn't supposed to hear that, or maybe I was. I pushed the door open slowly. She jumped, her phone dropping slightly before she caught it. Ryan, why are you awake? I could ask you the same thing, I said, forcing a smile. It's past midnight. She tucked her phone behind her back like a teenager caught doing something stupid. I just couldn't sleep. Who were you talking to? She hesitated just a second, but I felt it. It's just Jason, my ex. Just that word hit harder than anything else. Oh, I said, nodding like it made sense. Right? You know we stayed friends? She added quickly, he's going through something. Yeah, I replied. Of course. That makes sense. I walked in, sat on the edge of the bed, trying to ignore the way my chest felt tight. Everything okay with him? She shrugged. He's just confused about life. I let out a quiet laugh. Guess we all are. She smiled at that, a soft, warm smile. I hadn't seen that smile directed at me in weeks. You don't mind, right? She asked. Mind what? Talking to him. I looked at her for a second longer than I should have. No, why would I mind? Because he's my ex, she said, almost teasing. You married me, I replied. Not him. She walked over and kissed my cheek. Exactly. I nodded, pretending that settled everything, but it didn't. Come to bed, I said. In a minute, she replied. I just need to send one last message. Sure. I lay down, staring at the ceiling while the faint tapping of her fingers filled the room. Each tap felt louder than it should have. Ryan, she said softly. Yeah? You trust me, right? I turned my head toward her. Of course I do. She smiled again, that same smile. Good? She whispered. I closed my eyes, but sleep never came. The next morning I was sitting across from Mark at a small diner, stirring coffee I hadn't touched. Dude, I'm telling you something's off, he said. Nothing's off, I replied. She was just talking to her ex, that's it. Mark leaned back, raising an eyebrow. You hear yourself right now? They're friends, I insisted. Yeah, he said dryly, and I'm the king of New York. Mark? No, listen, he cut in. If my wife was up at midnight whispering, I miss you to another guy, I wouldn't be this calm. I clenched my jaw. You're overthinking it. No, he said, pointing at me. You're underthinking it. I sighed, rubbing my face. She told me everything, she didn't hide it. She hid it until you walked in. That's not the same. It is the same, he replied. You're just choosing not to see it. I shook my head. Emily's not like that. Every guy says that, he muttered. She loves me. Mark softened a little. I'm not saying she doesn't, I'm saying, maybe she doesn't love you the way you think. That's not fair. Neither is being second place in your own marriage. His words lingered longer than I wanted them to. I'm not second place, I said quietly. Then why does it feel like you are? I didn't answer because I didn't have one. That night I watched her again, not intentionally, at least that's what I told myself. She was sitting on the couch, curled up, her phone glowing against her face. She was smiling again, laughing softly. Who's that? I asked casually. Just Jason, she said, not even looking up this time. Again? He just needed someone to talk to. At 10 p.m., she finally looked at me. Ryan, what's your problem? No problem, I said quickly, just asking. You're acting weird. I'm not. You are, she insisted. You never cared before. Before it wasn't every day, she sighed, putting her phone down. He's going through a hard time, and you're the only one who can help him? I'm his friend. You're my wife. The words came out sharper than I intended. She stared at me. So what, I'm not allowed to have a past? That's not what I said. It sounds like it. I took a breath. I don't like how close you're getting again. We were always close. You were in love. That was years ago. I nodded slowly. Yeah, years ago. She picked up her phone again. You're overreacting. Maybe, I said, but it didn't feel like it. Later that night I woke up to an empty bed. My heart started racing before I even knew why. I called out, no answer. I got up, walking quietly toward the front door, and then I saw her standing outside, barefoot, phone pressed to her ear. I know. He doesn't understand, she whispered. My chest tightened. I miss you too, she said again, softer this time. I froze. Every part of me wanted to walk out there, to confront her, to demand answers, but I didn't move. I just stood there listening, because somehow hearing the truth felt easier than asking for it. She laughed quietly. Yeah, things were simpler back then. Back then, not now, not with me. I stepped back slowly, my hands shaking. Something inside me shifted, not broken. Not yet, but cracked, and deep down, I knew this wasn't just a conversation. This wasn't just an ex. This was the beginning of something I wasn't ready for, and maybe something I wouldn't survive unchanged. I told you, Ryan, this isn't normal, Mark said, and I tightened my grip on my coffee mug. Mark, it's not like that, you're making it bigger than it is. But Mark leaned forward, eyes locked on mine. Then explain it to me, why is Emily Carter talking to Jason Miller every single day? Because Jason Miller is going through something. Emily Carter already said that. Mark scoffed. Yeah, and you believe that just like that? I trust Emily Carter, I replied, and he shook his head. That's not trust, that's blindness. I looked away. You don't understand. Then help me understand. Mark pushed. Start from the beginning. Who is Jason Miller really to Emily Carter? I stayed quiet for a moment before sighing. Jason Miller was everything to Emily Carter before I came along. Mark crossed his arms. Go on. Jason Miller left Emily Carter out of nowhere, no closure, no explanation. Emily Carter was destroyed. How bad? He asked, and I swallowed. Bad enough that Emily Carter didn't trust anyone for a long time. When I met Emily Carter barely talked to anyone. Emily Carter didn't smile. Emily Carter didn't believe in love. And you fixed that. I didn't fix anything, I just stayed. I showed Emily Carter consistency, I didn't leave. Mark studied me carefully. So you helped Emily Carter heal from Jason Miller? Yes. And now Jason Miller is back. I nodded. And Emily Carter is suddenly just talking to Jason Miller again. It's not like that, I insisted, but my voice wasn't as strong this time. Mark leaned closer. Ryan Carter, listen carefully. You were never the love Emily Carter couldn't live without. You were the love Emily Carter felt safe with. That's not true, I snapped. Then why does Emily Carter keep choosing Jason Miller over you? And I had no answer. Later that day, Emily Carter grabbed keys from the counter while I watched. Ryan Carter, you're overthinking everything. I don't think I am. Where are you going? Just out, Emily Carter said casually. With Jason Miller? Emily Carter paused for a second. Yeah, Jason Miller needed someone to talk to. At 7 p.m. on a Friday? It's not a big deal, Ryan Carter. Why are you making it one? I'm not making it anything, I'm just asking. Emily Carter sighed. Jason Miller is going through a hard time. Jason Miller doesn't have many people. You're married, Emily Carter? I know that doesn't mean Emily Carter stops being a friend. I shook my head. It feels like more than that. It's not, Emily Carter said quickly. Then why does it feel like Emily Carter would rather be with Jason Miller than with Ryan Carter? That's not fair, Emily Carter said. What's not fair is Ryan Carter sitting here while Emily Carter runs to someone else every time Jason Miller calls. Emily Carter looked frustrated. Ryan Carter, it's just a conversation. Then why can't Jason Miller have that conversation during the day? Why does it have to be late? Why does it have to feel like Ryan Carter isn't supposed to see it? Emily Carter didn't answer, and I let out a quiet breath. That's what I thought. Ryan Carter, stop doing this. Stop turning something simple into something ugly. I'm not turning it into anything. It already feels ugly. Emily Carter grabbed keys again. I'm going out. Emily Carter doesn't want to argue. Of course, I muttered. Jason Miller is waiting. Emily Carter didn't respond. The door closed, and I stood there alone again. Later Olivia Grant sat across from me, calm as ever. Ryan Carter, Emily Carter deserves happiness too. Emily Carter has happiness. Emily Carter has a marriage, I said, and Olivia Grant shrugged. Marriage doesn't mean Emily Carter stops feeling things. Feeling what, for Jason Miller? Olivia Grant leaned forward. Jason Miller was a big part of Emily Carter's life. That kind of connection doesn't just disappear. It should. Emily Carter chose Ryan Carter? Did Emily Carter really? Olivia Grant asked softly, and that question hit harder than I expected. What's that supposed to mean? Ryan Carter, Emily Carter loves you, but love isn't always enough to erase the past. So Emily Carter just gets to keep both? That's not what I'm saying. Maybe Emily Carter is confused. Confused people don't act like this, I said. They do, especially when someone from the past comes back, Olivia Grant replied, and I clenched my fists. So what? Ryan Carter just waits around while Emily Carter figures it out? Olivia Grant didn't answer, and that silence said everything. Later that evening, Emily Carter stood near the door, already dressed. Ryan Carter, can we reschedule dinner tonight? Reschedule? Emily Carter means our anniversary dinner? Yeah, Jason Miller really needs someone right now. I stared at Emily Carter. Emily Carter is choosing Jason Miller over Ryan Carter on anniversary night? It's not like that. Jason Miller is going through something serious, and Ryan Carter isn't? Emily Carter hesitated, and I continued. Ryan Carter is standing right here. Ryan Carter is asking Emily Carter to stay. Ryan Carter, please understand, Jason Miller doesn't have anyone else. Emily Carter has Ryan Carter, I said, but Emily Carter looked away. Ryan Carter will be fine. And that sentence broke something inside me. Yeah, I said slowly, Ryan Carter will be fine. Emily Carter walked toward the door. Emily Carter, I called out. Emily Carter stopped. For once, choose. Ryan Carter. But Emily Carter didn't turn around. I can't, Emily Carter whispered, and then the door closed. Later I sat alone at that restaurant table, staring at the empty chair across from me while the waiter approached. Still waiting for someone? I forced a small smile. No. Ryan Carter thinks Ryan Carter is done waiting. Ryan Carter, why are you just standing there? Emily Carter asked, barely glancing up, and I stayed where I was, voice quiet. I'm trying to figure out when everything changed. But Emily Carter kept looking in the mirror like none of it mattered. Nothing changed. Ryan Carter is just overthinking again. Am I losing Emily Carter? I asked, and that question hung in the air heavier than anything else. Emily Carter sighed, adjusting hair like it was nothing. Ryan Carter is overthinking? That's not an answer. It is an answer, Emily Carter replied, finally turning toward me. Ryan Carter is imagining things that aren't real. I let out a soft laugh with no humor in it. Then why does it feel like Ryan Carter is living with a stranger? Emily Carter rolled eyes. That's dramatic. Is it? I asked. Because Ryan Carter feels invisible. You're not invisible, Emily Carter said, grabbing phone. Ryan Carter is just sensitive lately. Sensitive? I repeated. Ryan Carter is watching marriage fall apart in real time. That's not happening, Emily Carter snapped. Then why does Emily Carter barely talk to Ryan Carter anymore? I talk to Ryan Carter, Emily Carter said defensively. When? I asked. Between messages to Jason Miller? Emily Carter stiffened. Ryan Carter needs to stop bringing Jason Miller into everything. Jason Miller is already in everything, I said, and Emily Carter didn't respond, that silence saying more than anything else ever could. Later David Carter sat across from me looking straight at me. Ryan Carter, you look like hell. Thanks, David Carter, I muttered, and he studied face like something broken. When was the last time Ryan Carter slept properly? I don't know, maybe days, I admitted. Because of Emily Carter? I nodded, and David Carter leaned back. Ryan Carter needs to stop being passive. I'm not passive, I said, but he shook his head. You are. Ryan Carter keeps asking questions but never does anything when answers hurt. What am I supposed to do, force Emily Carter to choose? No, David Carter said calmly. Ryan Carter chooses self. That sounds easy when you're not in it. I've been in it, David Carter replied, and I walked away before losing myself. I'm not there yet, I said quietly, but David Carter shook head. Ryan Carter is already there. Ryan Carter just doesn't want to admit it. I looked down at hands. I still love Emily Carter. Love doesn't mean accepting disrespect, David Carter said. It's not disrespect, I replied weakly, and he raised eyebrow. Then what is it? And I didn't answer because I knew exactly what it was. That night I noticed something else. Emily Carter, where are you going dressed like that? I asked, and Emily Carter looked at me like I was annoying. Out? With Jason Miller again? Ryan Carter, stop, it's exhausting. What's exhausting is pretending this is normal, I said, and Emily Carter grabbed purse. Jason Miller just wants to talk. Jason Miller always wants to talk, and Emily Carter always goes, I replied, and Emily Carter didn't deny it. Do you even hear yourself? I asked. Ryan Carter is standing right here. I know that, Emily Carter said softer. Then act like it, I said, and Emily Carter looked at me for a moment before turning away. I'll be back later. The door closed again, and just like that I wasn't part of evening. After that I stopped asking, not because I didn't care but because I was tired of answers that didn't mean anything. Later Mark Benson called. Ryan Carter, you're quiet lately. I don't have anything left to say, I replied. That's worse, silence means Ryan Carter is giving up. I'm not giving up, I'm just watching. Watching what? Mark Benson asked. Watching Emily Carter choose someone else over and over again. Mark Benson went quiet for a second. That's exactly why Ryan Carter needs to walk away. I'm not ready, I said. You never will be, but staying like this will destroy Ryan Carter. I know, I whispered, and that was the worst part, knowing and still staying. Later that night I walked into living room quietly and saw Emily Carter sitting on couch, phone pressed to ear, and then I heard it, that laugh, that soft real laugh I hadn't heard from Emily Carter in months. Jason Miller, stop, Emily Carter said, laughing again. That's not funny. I stood there frozen. Yeah. Emily Carter remembers that, Emily Carter said softly, my chest tightening. That was different, Emily Carter added. Different, not bad, not wrong, just different. I stepped closer but Emily Carter didn't notice. Jason Miller always knew how to make Emily Carter laugh, Emily Carter said quietly, and that sentence hit harder than anything else because it was true and because it wasn't me anymore. I took a step back, heart racing, my phone buzzed. Ryan Carter, you good? Mark Benson texted. I stared at message and typed slowly. Ryan Carter is losing Emily Carter, But I didn't send it because saying it out loud would make it real. I turned to leave, but then I heard it, soft, almost like Emily Carter didn't mean for anyone else to hear. I miss what we had, and everything inside me stopped. No denial, no confusion, no overthinking, just truth. And for the first time I wasn't questioning it, I was feeling it, clear, sharp, unavoidable. Ryan Carter wasn't imagining anything, Ryan Carter was just finally seeing it. Ryan Carter, don't do this, I muttered under my breath as I gripped the steering wheel, watching Emily Carter step out of the car ahead. Emily Carter didn't know Ryan Carter was there. Emily Carter thought Ryan Carter trusted Emily Carter. Maybe Ryan Carter used to, but not anymore. Just turn around, go home, I whispered to myself, but Ryan Carter didn't move. Ryan Carter watched as Emily Carter walked toward the restaurant entrance, and then Jason Miller appeared outside, waiting like Emily Carter was expected, like this wasn't random, like this wasn't just talking. Jason Miller smiled and Emily Carter smiled back. Not the polite smile Emily Carter gave Ryan Carter, not the tired smile Emily Carter used at home. This was different, real, warm, alive. My chest tightened. Ryan Carter, you're seeing this wrong. I tried to convince myself, but Ryan Carter wasn't. Ryan Carter watched Jason Miller place a hand gently on Emily Carter back, and Emily Carter didn't pull away. Emily Carter leaned into it, and that was enough. But Ryan Carter still followed because some part of Ryan Carter needed to see all of it, needed to break completely. Inside the restaurant I stayed far enough to not be noticed but close enough to hear. Emily Carter, you look amazing, Jason Miller said, and Emily Carter laughed softly. Jason Miller always says that, because Jason Miller always means it. Jason Miller replied. Emily Carter looked down smiling. I missed this, Jason Miller added. Emily Carter hesitated. Jason Miller shouldn't say that. Why not? It's true, Jason Miller said, and Emily Carter didn't answer. Jason Miller reached across the table, fingers brushing Emily Carter's hand, and Emily Carter didn't move, didn't stop it, didn't even look uncomfortable. Instead, Emily Carter smiled again, that same smile Ryan Carter hadn't seen in months. Emily Carter, this is wrong, I whispered to myself, but Emily Carter didn't think so. Because Emily Carter stayed, because Emily Carter laughed, because Emily Carter leaned closer. Remember that night at the lake? Jason Miller asked, and Emily Carter laughed. Jason Miller still remembers that? How could Jason Miller forget? That was one of the best nights of Jason Miller's life, Jason Miller said, and Emily Carter looked at Jason Miller differently after that, soft, nostalgic, like Ryan Carter wasn't even part of the story, like Ryan Carter never was. And that's when something inside me snapped, not loudly, not violently, just quietly, like a thread finally giving up. I didn't wait for dinner to end. Ryan Carter walked out first because Ryan Carter had seen enough, more than enough. I stood in the parking lot, breathing heavier than I should have been. Say something, don't just walk away again, I told myself. So Ryan Carter waited. Minutes passed and then Emily Carter came out laughing, still smiling, still glowing, until Emily Carter saw me and everything changed. Ryan Carter? Emily Carter froze. What are you doing here? I stepped closer. Ryan Carter should ask Emily Carter the same thing. Emily Carter glanced around nervously. Ryan Carter, this isn't what it looks like. Then what does it look like? Because from where Ryan Carter was standing, it looked like a date. I said, it wasn't a date, Emily Carter replied quickly. Then why did it feel like one? I asked, and Emily Carter didn't answer immediately. Jason Miller stepped out behind Emily Carter. Everything okay? Jason Miller asked. I looked straight at him. No, everything is not okay. Emily Carter turned to Jason Miller. Jason Miller, just give Ryan Carter a second. Jason Miller nodded slowly and stepped back, and that alone told me everything. Jason Miller knew this was crossing a line. Ryan Carter, calm down, Emily Carter said. Calm down? I repeated. Ryan Carter just watched Emily Carter laugh like that with Jason Miller. It's not what Ryan Carter thinks, Emily Carter insisted. Then tell Ryan Carter what it is because Ryan Carter is done guessing, I said. Emily Carter ran a hand through hair. Jason Miller needed someone, so Emily Carter gave Jason Miller everything? I snapped. That's not fair, Emily Carter said. Neither is this, I replied, and silence fell between us, heavy and unavoidable. Am I your husband? I asked slowly, or am I just your backup plan? Emily Carter flinched. Ryan Carter, why are you making this ugly? Emily Carter said, and that sentence destroyed something inside me. Ugly? I repeated quietly. This is already ugly, Emily Carter. I didn't do anything wrong, Emily Carter said defensively. You didn't? I stepped closer. Then why does it feel like Ryan Carter just watched marriage fall apart in a parking lot? Emily Carter shook head. Ryan Carter is overreacting. No, I said softly. Ryan Carter is finally reacting. and Emily Carter didn't respond because there was nothing left to say. I drove home in silence, no music, no thoughts, just emptiness. I called Mark Benson. Ryan Carter talked to me, he said. I saw Emily Carter, I replied. With Jason Miller? Yes. How bad? I took a breath. Bad enough that Ryan Carter can't pretend anymore? Mark Benson was quiet for a moment. Ryan Carter? This isn't confusion. I know. This is betrayal, he said, and that word hit differently because it felt true, because it felt real. I think Ryan Carter knows that now, I said. Then what are you going to do? Mark Benson asked, and I didn't answer right away because for the first time leaving didn't feel impossible. I walked into the house slowly. Everything looked the same but nothing felt the same. My eyes landed on the wedding photo on the wall. I stepped closer. Ryan Carter, look at that. I whispered. There we were, smiling, happy, unaware. Who is that guy? I asked quietly because I didn't recognize him anymore. That version of Ryan Carter believed in something that didn't exist. That version of Ryan Carter trusted someone who didn't choose Ryan Carter. I stared at the photo longer, then finally said it. Ryan Carter deserves better than this. And for the first time I meant it. Ryan Carter, how long are you going to keep doing this to yourself? Linda Carter asked, and I looked down, voice quiet. I don't know, Mom. Linda Carter sat across from me with soft but firm eyes. Ryan Carter looks exhausted. I am, I admitted. Ryan Carter just doesn't know what to do. Linda Carter reached across the table, placing a hand over mine. Ryan Carter already knows. No, I said quickly. Ryan Carter doesn't. Yes, Ryan Carter does. Linda Carter replied gently. Ryan Carter is just afraid to say it out loud. I looked down again. It's not that simple. Love isn't supposed to feel like this, Linda Carter said. Love isn't supposed to make Ryan Carter question worth every day. I still love Emily Carter, I whispered. I know, Linda Carter said softly, but love alone isn't enough when respect is gone. That's the problem, I said. Ryan Carter keeps hoping Emily Carter will come back. And has Emily Carter? Linda Carter asked, and I stayed silent. Ryan Carter deserves someone who chooses Ryan Carter without hesitation, Linda Carter continued. Not someone who keeps looking back. It's just hard to let go, I admitted. It always is, Linda Carter said, but sometimes letting go is the only way to save yourself. And those words stayed with me long after I left. Later at work, Sarah Collins stood near my desk. Ryan Carter, you okay? Yeah, I said, just tired. Sarah Collins tilted head slightly. Ryan Carter doesn't look just tired. I forced a small smile. It's nothing. But Sarah Collins didn't move. Ryan Carter doesn't have to pretend. I'm not pretending, I said a little too quickly. Sarah Collins raised an eyebrow. Then why does Ryan Carter look like someone who hasn't slept in days? I sighed. Because maybe Ryan Carter hasn't. Sarah Collins pulled a chair closer. Do you want to talk about it? I hesitated, then nodded. Emily Carter, things aren't good, I said. Sarah Collins listened quietly. Emily Carter keeps choosing someone else and Ryan Carter keeps staying. Sarah Collins frowned slightly. Why? Because Ryan Carter thought things would change, because Ryan Carter thought love was enough. I said, and now? Sarah Collins asked. Now Ryan Carter doesn't know what's left. I admitted. Sarah Collins leaned forward. Ryan Carter, can I say something honest? Yeah. Ryan Carter isn't holding on to Emily Carter. Ryan Carter is holding on to who Emily Carter used to be. That hit harder than I expected. Maybe, I said quietly. No, not maybe, Sarah Collins replied. Ryan Carter deserves better than waiting to be chosen. I don't even know how to leave, I admitted. You start by choosing yourself, Sarah Collins said, and I looked at her for a moment. And for the first time that idea didn't feel impossible. Later I sat across from Daniel Brooks. Ryan Carter, this is Daniel Brooks. Nice to meet you, I said, shaking hand. Have a seat. Daniel Brooks replied calmly. I sat down, heart racing. So, what can Daniel Brooks help Ryan Carter with today? Daniel Brooks asked, and I took a breath, then another. This might sound sudden, I said. Most things like this are. Daniel Brooks replied. I nodded slowly. My marriage isn't working, I said. Daniel Brooks didn't interrupt. Ryan Carter tried everything, but Emily Carter isn't here anymore. Emotionally? Daniel Brooks asked. Yes, and maybe in every other way too, I said. Daniel Brooks leaned slightly forward. And what does Ryan Carter want? That question felt heavier than anything else because I knew the answer, I just hadn't said it yet. I want. My voice got stuck. Take your time, Daniel Brooks said. I closed my eyes for a second, then forced the words out. I want a divorce. The room went quiet. Not because Daniel Brooks reacted, but because I finally heard it out loud. Real? Permanent? Daniel Brooks nodded slowly. Are you sure? I hesitated as images flashed through my mind. Emily Carter smiling at Jason Miller. Emily Carter walking away. Emily Carter saying Ryan Carter will be fine. I opened my eyes. Yes, I said, Daniel Brooks studied me. Then Daniel Brooks will guide Ryan Carter through the process. I nodded, still trying to process what I had just done. This isn't easy, but sometimes it's necessary, Daniel Brooks added. I know, I said quietly, and for the first time I believed it. When I got home, Emily Carter was sitting on the couch scrolling, smiling slightly at phone like nothing had changed. Hey, Emily Carter said casually, Ryan Carter is late? Yeah, I replied. How was work? Emily Carter asked. Busy? I said. Emily Carter nodded and went back to phone. That was it, no questions, no concern, just distance. I stood there for a moment watching Emily Carter, thinking about everything, thinking about what I had just done. Emily Carter, I said. Yeah? Emily Carter looked up briefly. I almost said it, almost told Emily Carter everything, but I didn't. Not yet. Nothing, I said quietly. Emily Carter shrugged and went back to phone, and as I stood there I realized something. Emily Carter had no idea what was coming, and for the first time Ryan Carter wasn't afraid of that. Ryan Carter, why are you looking at Emily Carter like that? Emily Carter asked, and I met those eyes calmly. Because Ryan Carter is done pretending. Emily Carter frowned slightly. Pretending what? But I didn't answer right away. Instead I walked forward and placed the envelope on the table between us. Emily Carter looked down at it confused. What is this? Open it, I said. Emily Carter sighed. Ryan Carter, if this is another dramatic, just open it, I repeated, and Emily Carter rolled eyes before tearing it open anyway. A few seconds passed and then Emily Carter laughed, actually laughed. Ryan Carter, this is a joke, right? Divorce papers? Emily Carter held them up, but I didn't smile. Ryan Carter is serious? Emily Carter shook head, still smiling. No, Ryan Carter isn't. I am, I said. Ryan Carter, stop, Emily Carter said, tossing papers onto the table. This isn't funny. I'm not trying to be funny. Emily Carter crossed arms. Ryan Carter is overreacting again. I'm not overreacting, I said quietly. Yes, Ryan Carter is, Emily Carter insisted. This is because of Jason Miller, right? Ryan Carter is blowing everything out of proportion. I watched Emily Carter choose Jason Miller over Ryan Carter repeatedly. I said, that's not what happened, Emily Carter snapped. Then what happened? I asked, and Emily Carter hesitated. That pause was all I needed. Exactly, I said. Emily Carter looked frustrated. Ryan Carter, you won't leave. Emily Carter, stop acting like this. I met those eyes again, steady this time. Watch me. And that's when everything changed. The confidence on Emily Carter's face cracked just slightly, but enough. Ryan Carter, you're serious? Emily Carter asked, voice softer now. Yes. No, Emily Carter said, shaking head. This is just anger talking. It's not anger, it's clarity, I replied. Emily Carter stepped closer. Ryan Carter, listen, we can fix this. We? I repeated. Since when does Emily Carter care about we? That's not fair, Emily Carter said quickly. What's not fair is Ryan Carter begging for attention while Emily Carter gives everything to someone else, I said. I didn't give everything, Emily Carter argued. You gave enough, I replied. Emily Carter ran a hand through hair, pacing slightly. Ryan Carter, you're making a mistake. No, I said calmly. Ryan Carter already made the mistake staying this long. Emily Carter stopped moving. Ryan Carter doesn't mean that. I do, I said. Emily Carter's voice shifted softer now. Ryan Carter, please, don't do this. And there it was, the tone I hadn't heard in a long time. Not love, not guilt, fear. I already did, I said. Emily Carter looked at the papers again like hoping they would disappear. This is insane. Ryan Carter wouldn't actually leave. I am leaving, I replied. Why? Emily Carter asked almost desperately. Because of Jason Miller? Because of Emily Carter choices, I corrected. That's not fair, Emily Carter said again. Life hasn't been fair to Ryan Carter either, I replied. Emily Carter stepped closer. Ryan Carter, we can fix this. Emily Carter will stop talking to Jason Miller. I stared at Emily Carter. Now? Now Emily Carter wants to stop. Yes, if that's what Ryan Carter wants, Emily Carter said quickly. That's the problem. Emily Carter should have wanted that without Ryan Carter asking. Emily Carter didn't respond because there was nothing left to defend. I gave Emily Carter chances. I asked, I waited, I hoped. I continued. And now? Emily Carter asked quietly. Now Ryan Carter is done. Silence filled the room, heavy and final. Later that night my phone buzzed. Emily Carter calling. I didn't answer. Then again and again until I finally picked up. Ryan Carter, please. Emily Carter's voice came through shaky. We need to talk. We already did, I said. No, we didn't. Ryan Carter just dropped papers and walked away. Because Ryan Carter said everything that needed to be said. Ryan Carter can't do this, not like this. Emily Carter said, I already am, I replied. There was a pause and then, Jason Miller doesn't even matter? Emily Carter said. I let out a quiet breath. Jason Miller matters because Emily Carter made Jason Miller matter? That's not true, Emily Carter argued. Then why is Emily Carter calling Ryan Carter now? Why not call Jason Miller? I asked, and Emily Carter went silent, that silence answering everything. Ryan Carter, please come home, Emily Carter said softly. I'm already home, I replied. No, not like this, Emily Carter whispered. Exactly, I said. The next day Mark Benson called. Ryan Carter, guess what? I'm not in the mood, I replied. This matters, Jason Miller is already pulling away, Mark Benson insisted. I frowned. What? Jason Miller doesn't want anything serious now that things are messy. Jason Miller is backing off, Mark Benson said, and I almost laughed. Of course, I said. What does Ryan Carter feel about that? Mark Benson asked. Nothing, I replied honestly, and that surprised me because it was true. No anger, no jealousy, just nothing. Ryan Carter is finally letting go, Mark Benson said. Yeah, I whispered. When I got home again, Emily Carter was waiting, eyes red, expression different. Ryan Carter? Emily Carter stepped forward. Can we talk? We can, but nothing is changing, I said, and Emily Carter looked like that hurt more than anything else. Ryan Carter? Emily Carter didn't think this would happen, Emily Carter admitted. I know, I said. That's why Emily Carter didn't take Ryan Carter seriously, Emily Carter continued. I know that too, I replied. Emily Carter's voice broke slightly. Ryan Carter is really leaving? Yes. And there's nothing Emily Carter can say to stop it? I shook my head. No. Emily Carter stood there, finally understanding, finally realizing, finally seeing the consequences, and for the first time Emily Carter looked scared of losing Ryan Carter, but it was too late because Ryan Carter had already let go. Ryan Carter, you look different, Sarah Collins said, and I adjusted my sleeves slightly. I feel different, I replied. Sarah Collins smiled a little. Better different? Yeah, finally better, I said, and Sarah Collins nodded. That's good. I leaned back in my chair. Ryan Carter didn't think this would feel like this. Like what? Sarah Collins asked. Quiet, I said. Not empty, just quiet. Sarah Collins gave a soft smile. That's healing, maybe, I replied. Definitely, Sarah Collins corrected. Ryan Carter stopped fighting something that was already gone. I exhaled slowly. That part still hurts. It will, Sarah Collins said. But it won't control Ryan Carter anymore. I nodded, and for the first time that felt true. Later my phone rang. Ryan Carter? Guess who just called? Mark Benson said. I rolled my eyes slightly. Mark Benson, if this is about Emily Carter? It is, Mark Benson cut in. I sighed. What now? Jason Miller is already pulling away, Mark Benson said. I know, Mark Benson told Ryan Carter before, I replied. No, this is worse, Mark Benson added. Jason Miller isn't just pulling away, Jason Miller is disappearing. What does that mean? I asked. It means Jason Miller never planned to stay, Jason Miller just liked the attention, Mark Benson said. I shook my head slightly. That sounds about right. Ryan Carter isn't surprised? Mark Benson asked. No, Ryan Carter already saw what Jason Miller really is, I said. And Emily Carter? Mark Benson asked. Emily Carter is just starting to see it, I replied. Mark Benson paused. Ryan Carter sounds calm. I am, I said. That's new, Mark Benson replied. I'm done being hurt by something Ryan Carter can't control, I said. Mark Benson let out a low whistle. Ryan Carter finally got there. Yeah, I said quietly. A few days later my phone buzzed again. Emily Carter. I stared at the screen and declined the call. Then a message came. Ryan Carter, please talk to Emily Carter. I didn't reply. Another message followed. Ryan Carter, things aren't what Ryan Carter thinks. I let out a small breath. Too late for that. Sarah Collins looked over. Everything okay? Yeah, I said. Just something from the past trying to come back. Are you going to answer? Sarah Collins asked. No, I replied. Good, Sarah Collins said. Ryan Carter deserves peace. I'm starting to believe that, I said. Later that evening I ran into someone unexpected. Ryan Carter? I turned. Michael Reed? I asked. Michael Reed nodded. Didn't expect to see Ryan Carter here. Same, what's going on? I said. Michael Reed hesitated. Ryan Carter knows Jason Miller, right? I let out a small laugh. More than Ryan Carter wants to, Michael Reed sighed. Then Ryan Carter should know Jason Miller isn't stable. I figured that out, I said. No, I mean really unstable, Michael Reed continued. Jason Miller jumps from one thing to another, no commitment, no consistency. That explains a lot, I replied. Jason Miller never planned to stay with Emily Carter. Jason Miller just likes attention and control, Michael Reed added. I shook my head slowly. And Emily Carter fell for it. Looks like it, Michael Reed said. Thanks for telling Ryan Carter, I said. Ryan Carter deserved to know, Michael Reed replied, and as Michael Reed walked away I felt something unexpected, not anger, not sadness, just confirmation. Later Sarah Collins looked at me again. Ryan Carter, are you free this weekend? Yeah, why? I asked. I was thinking maybe coffee, nothing serious, Sarah Collins said. I smiled slightly. That sounds nice, Sarah Collins smiled back. Good. There was something calm about Sarah Collins, no pressure, no confusion, just steady, and for once that felt enough. That night my phone lit up again. Emily Carter. I didn't pick up, but then there was a knock on the door. I frowned slightly. Who is that? I muttered. I walked over and opened it, and there Emily Carter was, eyes red, face tired, expression desperate. Ryan Carter? Emily Carter said softly. I stood still. Can we talk? Emily Carter asked. I took a slow breath. This isn't a good time, I said. Please? Emily Carter said quickly. Ryan Carter, just 5 minutes? I looked at Emily Carter for a moment. This wasn't the same Emily Carter. The confidence was gone, the certainty was gone. Jason Miller left, Emily Carter said quietly. I didn't react. Jason Miller stopped answering calls. Jason Miller just disappeared. Emily Carter continued. I nodded slightly. That's who Jason Miller is? I didn't see it before, Emily Carter admitted. I know, I said. Emily Carter stepped closer. Ryan Carter was right. That didn't feel like victory, it just felt late. Ryan Carter, I messed up, Emily Carter said. I stayed silent because I already knew that. Ryan Carter, please don't shut Emily Carter out, Emily Carter whispered. I looked at Emily Carter, really looked, and for the first time I didn't feel pulled back. Emily Carter, Ryan Carter isn't shutting Emily Carter out. Then what is Ryan Carter doing? Emily Carter asked. I'm moving on, I said. Emily Carter flinched slightly. Ryan Carter, please, Emily Carter said again. I shook my head. Ryan Carter already let go, and Emily Carter stood there finally realizing everything was falling apart and Ryan Carter wasn't there to catch Emily Carter anymore. Ryan Carter, please don't do this, Emily Carter said, standing in front of me with red eyes and shaking hands, but I stayed calm. I'm not doing anything, Emily Carter, I already did it. Emily Carter took a small step forward, voice breaking. Ryan Carter, just listen. I'm listening, I replied, and Emily Carter wiped tears quickly. I made a mistake, I was confused. I didn't realize what I was losing. I didn't respond, not because I didn't hear it but because I felt nothing. I choose. Ryan Carter, I choose us, Emily Carter continued, and I looked at Emily Carter for a long moment before shaking my head. Emily Carter already made that choice. No, Emily Carter said quickly. That wasn't real, that was just a moment. It wasn't a moment, it was a pattern, I replied. Emily Carter stepped closer again. Ryan Carter, please, don't say that. I have to because that's the truth, I said. Emily Carter wiped tears again. Ryan Carter, I'm here now, doesn't that mean anything? It would have meant everything before, I said, and Emily Carter flinched. But now? Emily Carter asked softly. Now it just feels late. Silence filled the space between us, heavy and unavoidable. Ryan Carter, I didn't understand. Jason Miller came back and everything got messy, Emily Carter said. It didn't get messy, Emily Carter made it messy, I replied. That's not fair, Emily Carter whispered. It is because Ryan Carter gave Emily Carter chances more than enough, I said calmly. Emily Carter shook head. I didn't think Ryan Carter would leave. That's the problem. Emily Carter never thought there would be consequences, I said. Emily Carter looked down. I thought Ryan Carter would always stay, Emily Carter admitted. I almost did, I said, and Emily Carter looked up quickly, hope flashing across face. Then stay now, but I shook my head again. No, that one word landed heavier than anything else. Ryan Carter, please, Emily Carter said, stepping closer again. We can fix this, I'll do whatever Ryan Carter wants. That's not how this works, I said. Then tell me how it works, Emily Carter pleaded. It works when both people choose each other without being asked, not when one person has to beg the other to stay, I replied. I'm not begging, Emily Carter said weakly. I raised an eyebrow slightly and Emily Carter stopped because Emily Carter knew. This isn't love, this is fear, I continued. Emily Carter shook head. No, it's not. It is. Jason Miller left and now Emily Carter is scared of being alone, I said. That's not true, Emily Carter insisted. Then where was this version of Emily Carter before? I asked, and Emily Carter didn't answer because there wasn't one. I waited, I asked, I gave Emily Carter every chance to choose Ryan Carter, I said, and I'm choosing Ryan Carter now, Emily Carter replied, and Ryan Carter isn't choosing Emily Carter anymore, I said, and that was the moment everything changed. Emily Carter stepped back like the words physically hurt. Ryan Carter doesn't mean that. Emily Carter whispered. I do, I said. Emily Carter voice broke. After everything? Ryan Carter can just walk away? After everything. Ryan Carter has to, I replied. Emily Carter covered mouth trying to hold tears back, but they came anyway. I didn't think this would happen. Emily Carter cried. I know, I said softly. I didn't think Ryan Carter would stop loving Emily Carter. Emily Carter added. I didn't stop loving Emily Carter, I said. Emily Carter looked up confused. Then why? I stopped choosing Emily Carter, I finished. And that silence hit differently because it wasn't about love anymore, it was about respect. I can change, Emily Carter said desperately. I believe that, I replied, and hope filled Emily Carter's eyes. Then give Emily Carter another chance. But I shook my head slowly. Ryan Carter can't be the lesson Emily Carter learns from, I said, and Emily Carter's expression fell again. That's not fair, Emily Carter whispered. It's not supposed to be fair, it's supposed to be real, I replied. Emily Carter stepped closer one last time. Ryan Carter, please, don't leave like this. I'm not leaving like anything. Ryan Carter is just leaving, I said calmly. Emily Carter reached out and grabbed my arm lightly. Ryan Carter, don't go. I gently pulled away, not angry, not frustrated, just done. Emily Carter, Ryan Carter deserved to be chosen when it mattered, I said, and Emily Carter broke completely, tears falling freely with no control, no defense, just regret. I'm sorry. Emily Carter whispered. I know, I said, and I meant it because I believed Emily Carter was sorry, just not soon enough. I took a step back, then another. Ryan Carter? Emily Carter called softly. I paused for a second, not because I was unsure but because I was remembering everything, the love, the patience, the waiting, the breaking, and then I said it. Goodbye, Emily Carter. I turned, and this time I didn't look back, not out of anger, not out of revenge, but out of something stronger, self-respect. Ryan Carter, you look different, Sarah Collins said, and I smiled slightly. I've heard that before. Sarah Collins leaned back in her chair, studying me. No, really, there's something lighter about Ryan Carter now. Maybe because Ryan Carter isn't carrying something that wasn't meant to stay, I replied, and Sarah Collins nodded. That sounds like peace. It feels like it, I said, and there was a quiet moment between us. Not awkward, not forced, just calm. So, Sarah Collins said, what does life look like now? I thought about it for a second. Simple work, sleep, coffee, conversations that don't feel like battles. Sarah Collins smiled. That sounds healthy. It is, I said. Ryan Carter didn't realize how heavy everything felt before. And now? Sarah Collins asked. Now Ryan Carter can breathe, I replied. Later that day Mark Benson called. Ryan Carter, don't tell me Ryan Carter is becoming one of those calm, wise people now. I laughed lightly. Maybe. I missed the dramatic version, Mark Benson joked. That version was exhausted, I said, and Mark Benson went quiet for a second. Ryan Carter really okay? Yeah, I answered honestly. Ryan Carter is okay. That's good, took long enough, Mark Benson said. Yeah, I agreed. Any regrets? Mark Benson asked, and I thought about everything before shaking my head slightly. No, Ryan Carter regrets staying too long, not leaving. That's growth, Mark Benson replied. It's clarity, I corrected. That night I sat alone on the couch, not because I had no one but because I finally enjoyed my own company. Ryan Carter, this feels weird, I muttered to myself, but it didn't feel bad, it felt earned. My phone buzzed. A message from Emily Carter. I stared at the screen for a moment before opening it. Ryan Carter, I hope Ryan Carter is okay. That was it, no begging, no pleading, just simple. I typed back, I am, then paused before adding, I hope Emily Carter finds peace too. I sent it, and that was enough. No anger, no attachment, just closure. The next morning I met Sarah Collins again. Ryan Carter looks like someone who slept well, Sarah Collins said. I did, I replied. That's progress. Sarah Collins smiled. It is, I said. We walked side by side for a bit. No pressure, no expectations, just presence. Ryan Carter, can I ask something? Sarah Collins said, sure. Is Ryan Carter ready for something new? I stopped for a second, then shook my head. Not yet, I said honestly. Sarah Collins nodded. That's fair. But Ryan Carter is not afraid of it anymore, I added. That's even better, Sarah Collins said, and I smiled slightly because that was true. Later that evening David Carter asked, Ryan Carter, do you ever think about Emily Carter? Sometimes, I admitted, and David Carter pressed. It doesn't hurt the same, I said. David Carter nodded. That means Ryan Carter healed? It means Ryan Carter accepted, I replied. There's a difference? Yeah, healing feels like something happened to Ryan Carter, acceptance feels like something Ryan Carter chose, I said. David Carter smirked slightly. That's deeper than usual. Ryan Carter had time to think, I replied. A few days later I walked past the same restaurant where everything broke. I stopped for a second. Ryan Carter remembers this place, I said quietly, but it didn't hit the same. No anger, no pain, just memory. And then I kept walking because that's all it was now, a memory. That night I stood in front of the mirror, not looking for flaws, not questioning anything, just looking. Ryan Carter made it, I said softly, not perfectly, not easily, but honestly, I wasn't the same person anymore, and for once that felt right. Later Sarah Collins texted, "Coffee tomorrow?" I smiled. "Yeah," I replied, simple, no pressure, no expectations, just possibility. I leaned back staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything, the love, the betrayal, the waiting, the breaking, and then the rebuilding. Ryan Carter lost Emily Carter? I whispered, then shook my head. No, Ryan Carter found Ryan Carter. That was the truth, the only truth that mattered now. In the end, it wasn't about who left or who stayed, it was about who I became after everything fell apart, stronger, wiser, free. And as I closed my eyes that night, one final thought stayed with me. She thought I'd never leave, but leaving was the only way I found myself.